What's up, everybody? Thanks for being here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, waiting on the college football playoff rankings. We know that Alabama is not going to be one of the teams that's in the game or in the playoff, but we'll watch and see kind of where Alabama is. We know that there's still a chance, and it's not a bad odds. I mean, when you're at 37, almost 40%, you need some things to happen. But that includes beating Auburn. So we're going to talk about that as well. But doing a live show tonight, and we'll talk about the Crimson Tide, kind of see how things unfold. Do all of that right here after this. Let's get the show started. Roll Tide, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Got my nephew in the house with me again today. Throw him up there. Let me give you a little volume. He's a current student at Alabama. So you get that. This is for the young crowd that we're trying to attract to the channel. We got Robbie on here. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
You tired? Been out there working today, haven't you?
I'm more than tired. I took a quick nap before the show. I'm having some fun.
Yeah, I'm a great family member. I bring him to town and then get him working for me.
Put me to work all day.
That was great, man. Good job. Not quite finished yet,
bring
but
me on the show to put me to some more work.
Everyone in Fairhope's going to hire you to pull weeds and clean up their yard after they see my place. All right, well, let's talk about what we got going on right now. And I want to start with kind of basically what we're looking at. It's a 12-team playoff, as you guys know. The 5 highest ranked conference championship teams receive automatic bids, right? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be, probably Georgia or Texas that'll get that out of the SEC. 4 highest rated conference champions are seeded 1 to 4 and receive first round buys, right? So you get that done. I guess it doesn't matter what your record is. You're one of the top seeds. 7 at-large teams determined by remaining highest ranked teams. And then seeds 5 through 8 host first round games, right? So Bama lost, right? They were really embarrassed by Oklahoma. There's no other way to say it. It was one of the worst losses I can remember. But you know what? It's on the road, and what kind of gives you an idea to me how good this team is that you could play that bad and still only lose 24-3. You take the 2 interceptions away, and you gave up 10 points. So it's not like. I mean, it was a bad game. I don't think there's any other way to say it. We've kind of broken that down a lot on here, but they're still ranked 13th. So you get a couple losses.
Yeah, we had to have some timely losses for it to occur, but a lot of people like Coker are kind of rolling us out, and I think we still got a fighting chance.
Well, I think that he kind of feels like it's a long shot. He wants us to get in, but he's just not the internal optimist like I am. See, I've seen this happen before, but first and foremost, Bama has to take care of Auburn. They got to beat Auburn, and Auburn's coming in with a lot of confidence right now. Have you read some of the smack talk going on?
I have not. What's been going on?
So there's been a lot of talk that these guys are very confident. One of their linebackers, DeMarcus Riddick, Ryan Williams, he ain't no big time player to me. I will not lose to Bama while I'm here.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of throwing the
we lose to Oklahoma and they think everyone else is
everybody's ready, right?
Yeah.
Perry Thompson put out a tweet basically making it look like Peyton Thorne was better than Jalen Milroe, kind of had their stats together. Just a lot of a lot of chirping going on, but I get it, man. I mean, like every time I've been around to fight, the person that talks the most normally doesn't win the fight. Yeah. It's kind of that quiet guy that you're worried about. And I'm sure there's been a lot of internalizing for Alabama this week after the way they played against Oklahoma. The effort wasn't there. It wasn't good enough. And so, I mean, to me, it kind of feels like, hey, you get an opportunity here to, to kind of get a little redemption. Why wouldn't you go out there and play your best? So I feel like that's going to happen. Now, let me get into the comments here. as we're waiting on the college football playoff rankings to be announced. Thunder hanging out in Austin, Texas. I'm sure that the Longhorns are just chomping at the bit to get that rematch against Georgia. They still got to beat Texas A&M, back to having a rivalry game again in Austin, but he doesn't care about that. He's roll tiding with us. He does every time. So, he's out there with all the burnt orange, including Steve Delmore, who's our friend here locally, a graduate of Texas. And he sends me all of these like messages, like all of the things that I need to know about Texas, like these texts. Because, I mean, it's probably the first time that anybody outside of Texas cares about Texas, because they're actually in a real conference now.
Wow. Yeah.
JM12 says we need to worry about Auburn, man. I'm so with you, dude. I know this. I know this. You're exactly right. This is kind of one of the things that we need to do. And I don't think that we're going to overlook this game, man. I mean, and you say that if we get to the playoff, it'll be more embarrassments, man. The thing about Alabama is that they're capable of winning any game they play, even as bad as they played against Oklahoma. It's the thing that I would criticize Kalen DeBoer the most for this year is consistency, because they just haven't been consistent.
I think a lot of consistency comes from discipline. Like, I think a lot of people forget we've won huge games. We crushed Georgia. They were coming back, but we beat them. And I mean, what are they seated, like 6 right now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after an embarrassing loss to Oklahoma, an embarrassing loss to the Vols, I think everyone's just doubting us. I mean, I don't even know where Auburn is right now, but I really just don't think we're going to have trouble with Auburn. I think we're going to step it up, realize, we're not losing the Iron Bowl, and put shit down.
Well, I hope you're right, because if they lose this game, there's going to be a lot of upset people around the state. Just telling you that right now. Nobody's going to be happy with it. But as we wait on the college football show to start, one of the cool things that you have these days is the playoff predictor, right? And I'm going to put it on my screen share here and share it with you guys, because I want you to get an idea of what the ESPN predictor looks like. Where's Alabama slot when it comes to this college football playoff? And there you go, right there. Pull the banner off at the bottom, and we'll kind of get into this, but I'm a little bit heartened here, because I guess it really doesn't matter. But look, the top teams on this list are going to make it. Indiana's probably going to make it, even with the way they lost to Ohio State, but they're a first round out. Notre Dame's only got one loss. Miami, I think Miami's a team that could fall out of this. Tennessee could lose to Vandy in Nashville. They might not know that yet, but that could happen. Boise State could lose. SMU could lose. And all you need is a couple of those to happen. And at 37%, just outside of 40, I mean, you could slip right in there.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. Like, who really does need to lose for us to make it? Because I think there's a lot of, competitive games going on. I mean, they have Tennessee at 76%, but like we said, I think Vandy's much more competitive than a lot of people are giving them credit.
And yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Do we know who Iowa's playing, though? Because they're seeded 17th right now, but they come in right behind us with 27% chance of making it?
I'm not sure about them, but I know Tennessee plays Vandy. Some of these teams will play in conference championship games.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see kind of how that affects, if Oregon and Ohio State play, I think no matter who wins, they're going to get in. I don't even know, the curious thing for me is I don't even know what the how the Big Ten does their conference championship, which and I guess it's just the first time that I've thought about this in a while. And I got to pull this off. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to try to figure it out, because they've got such a top loaded conference. There's just not a lot of competition once you get past the first 5 teams or 4 teams. I don't think anybody behind Alabama is going to jump them.
I agree. I personally think anyone Miami up, maybe Notre Dame up, is just making it already, obviously. So I think we really got to rely on, Miami, Tennessee, Boise, and SMU to kind of fall. But I don't know what games they're playing right now. Like I said, all I know is Tennessee's against Vandy.
So what's life like on campus these days?
It's hostile for sure. After some of these big losses, I mean, people lose all faith in Alabama at the blink of an eye, and I don't know. I'm on the south side of campus, right by the strip, so it gets pretty loud around game time. I have to deal with all the fans walking back after losses. We're pretty respectful people, so we're not like kicking stuff over, but they do like to get loud, and it's quite annoying.
So still waiting on this show to start. And I got a feeling that it's tied to a basketball game because they'll do that a lot and play it at the halftime of a basketball game. You guys tell me in the comment section what you got there on that. Yeah, Chuck's talking about this. I can hear the late great, I hate to say that, but true, Big Elmo talking about this kind of stuff. He could not stand the ice cream truck and all of the stuff outside of being focused on football. He could not change, he didn't like any of that stuff. He wanted it to be kind of like where this team's really focused on playing football, and that when they weren't, you kind of get all of a sudden you get out of what you're supposed to be doing, and that's playing football.
I think it really comes back to DeBoer with the discipline. I mean, this is my first year, but all I've heard is Saban was a very disciplined guy. And I mean, if all we're missing from Saban, besides his direct play calling is this discipline, then I think it's something DeBoer's going to have to learn, or, the dynasty is going to have to conclude.
Yeah, look, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's not a dynasty anymore.
Well, I mean, I think you say that. I think a lot of people say that, but, even in Saban's reign, he didn't win every year, damn near it, but he lost. Like, people are talking about this, like they didn't expect, Mahomes to, win 5 or whatever he's at now in 7 years. And, that could be DeBoer the next 5 years. I mean, everyone's saying the dynasty's over, but, Saban's first year, he didn't win. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think the dynasty's over yet. I don't know if that's my hope because it's my first year on campus, but I'm trying to catch a win in the years I'm here.
So a lot of people watching went to Alabama. You're kind of going back through it the way that we did, back when we were in college. I don't know about you guys. I had a lot of classes at Ten Hoar Hall. Do you have any at Ten Hoar Hall?
I don't even know where Ten Hoar Hall is.
It's where the business school is?
Houston?
If you go Bidgood, if you go like kind of come towards the quad.
Okay. No, I have one of those next semester actually. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, it's an old building.
All my classes, and I don't know if we have anyone active students, but they're just throwing everything in North Lawn, if you know where that is.
Yeah. All right, so we got 47 seconds left in the Michigan State Memphis ball game. Bama's playing basketball tonight. Look, I got my hoop shirt on. I'm ready for that out in Vegas. I'm excited about this Bama basketball team. So as soon as we kind of take care of all of this stuff, we're going to switch gears and move to basketball. But again, this is the playoff indicator. I got it up on the screen for you guys to be able to watch that, take a look at that, the chances of teams making the playoff. Bama, of the 3 lost teams, is right there. So SMU, if they got to play Clemson, in a championship game, or they lose, I'm sure it just flips one of those teams. But maybe you end up with one ACC team instead of Miami and SMU. I mean, it'll be interesting to kind of see how this thing unfolds. But Bama needs some losses. Tennessee and Vandy, be a big Vandy fan this week. You want Vanderbilt to win that game. USC, Notre Dame, hey, man, pull for USC. I don't know that would knock Notre Dame out, but they lost to Northern Illinois this year, but they've run the table since, right? Boise State, what's it going to take for Boise State?
They're playing Oregon State.
So they're playing Oregon State.
So if Oregon upsets, that's looking good for us.
If that, what's the record?
Oregon
State.
Oh my Lord! I wish someone in the chat now. Statistics. I'm trying to pull it.
What conference are they in?
You're putting me on the spot, man.
Well, you throw out that information. I'm
I'm
ready for you to jump right in here. Let's see. I'm digging through. Oh, Mountain West. They're in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
And they play Oregon State, and then they have their conference championship game. Oregon State is let's see here. What have they done this
They're
year?
5-6.
Yeah, 5-6. They lost. They're not going to win. They didn't end up in a conference after the Big 12
Oregon
fell
State
apart.
gear.
Yeah, so that who knows? But you never know, man. I mean,
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you say there's no chance. How did we feel going into Oklahoma?
I didn't say there wasn't a chance. That was Coker.
No. I'm saying against, Oregon versus Boise. I mean, look at us going against the Vols. Look at us. I mean, the Vandy game, everyone thought it was a wash. Same with Oklahoma. I mean, upsets are bound to happen. And I think week 14 is the perfect time to have it.
I know a lot of you guys are frustrated right now with Coach DeBoer and Jalen Milroe. I don't blame you, because I am too. I think that Coach DeBoer is trying to figure out exactly how to run a program of this scale. And a lot of people have asked me, like, how I feel about Coach DeBoer. And I'm going to tell you, I do like him. I mean, I like him. It's a tough job. It was going to be tough for anybody besides Kirby Smart to be the two-pack champion. I love this Timmons. Funny guy. I love Timmons. Yeah, put some respect on that name. What's up, brother? I do like Coach DeBoer, but I got to tell you, I have to criticize him because he's been overwhelmed at times this year. This has not been an easy transition for him. He came in with a very lax style, and I don't know that this team's responded to it. They've played like his personality, and that happens a lot of times. It takes attention to detail to win, discipline, like you said. And we've been talking about the Nick Saban comment, either be disciplined or disappointed, and we've been disappointed a lot. And every time it seems like Alabama's doing this, they do this. The last game that Milroe played was his worst. And that's a shame, because you would hope that by now that he would be turning the corner. And honestly, I don't know what to expect on Saturday. I had hate mail for saying after the Missouri game that if these guys didn't get focused, that we were going to lose those games. And then, we came back against LSU, played great. And, and I was a lot more confident going into the game, but I'll tell you, man, watching that game and the way that we played, it's very worrisome. And then the things that Auburn does well, running the ball, and then the fact that we haven't done a good job of stopping the run. I mean, we had a quarterback that looked like, he looked like he was on ice skates. I mean, there was nothing good about his running except the fact that we didn't tackle him. So, but with that said, guys, every time we think that they're going to not show up, they play great. They play motivated, and thank Auburn, because they can't keep their mouths shut. I mean, the best thing that happened to us going into the SEC championship last year was Georgia running their mouths. It's just kind of the same thing now. Here we come, and here's a very bad Auburn team talking a bunch of smack. And if I'm on that team, I'm going, you know what, man, I'm gonna go out there and die before I'm gonna let these guys beat us.
I mean, I think that's what our whole team has to go in, because, for a lot of our seniors, I mean, it is kind of death, a lot of them aren't getting contracts. This is all they have.
Well, it's a really, really special game. This will be your first Iron Bowl?
This is my first Iron Bowl, correct?
Yeah, my first. As I wait on this show to start, I'm going to pull this down for you.
No, take your time. No, I was looking it up, and it looks like SMU is playing California.
Oh, Cal. Okay.
So, I mean, SMU is a 13.5 point favorite going into this game.
Yeah.
But we are a 14-point favorite going into Oklahoma. So, I think there's hope.
So, this is my first Iron Bowl right here. Look at that. How beautiful is that right there? How do you guys like that? So, you better take a picture.
I don't think anyone's ever seen with your hat off.
Yeah, that's how I roll. So I've been on here. Look at this. Watch the intro.
You look how old that is. The tickets were only $4.
I know. Think about that. And that goes to show you.
That was actually the first Iron Bowl ever.
No, it wasn't. It goes back hundreds of years. Now, it goes back a long way, but 96 Iron Bowl, it's a special experience. You're going to get out there. It's going to be really loud. Yeah, and Cal beat Auburn this year. It's really one of the most electric environments that I've ever been in. Now that was at Legion Field. This one will be at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but I think people are going to be fired up about everything that is going on Saturday. And now I guess we're kind of getting started here.
Yeah, where is it?
Okay.
Media not found. Jackie, you're lying.
No, it's on. I just got to get it to it. Put it on in here so we can watch. Kind of fun though, looking at this and kind of trying to figure out exactly where Alabama's going to be, how far out they were. I'm guessing that Alabama's going to be the first team out. That's kind of where I'm at on this.
I mean, even though we're 13th, everyone still hates Alabama. So everyone doesn't believe in that 37%. And it's just, I don't know. I think we're right there. Like, I think SMU just needs to slip up. Boise just needs to slip up, and we're fine.
I'm still putting it on here. But as we watch, we'll try to figure out exactly what's going on. And, and see how far we fall. It could be one of those deals where we feel like we're in a, we should be in a better spot. And then maybe we're not. So I don't know why.
Yeah, nothing's working right now.
Nothing is working.
I'd love for mine to work. If not.
It's so funny. There we go. All right. So we got the show on. We're ready to go. And we get to figure out what's going on here with the college football playoff. Do you think there will be any other movement? I mean, besides Alabama losing, and here we go. They're kind of running through all the things we talked about again, kind of how the whole thing works.
Iowa being the next highest percentile to make the playoffs.
Iowa State.
And they're sitting 17th right now in placement. I don't think anyone has a chance of you really switching this up except us. Not to mention they're at 28%. We're at 37.
So basically the only way that you're going to be able to, and I think you're right about this, the only way you're going to be able to get to this playoff game is
we need one of three teams to lose.
Unless somebody wins a conference championship game, you're just saying that they're not going to get in.
I mean, if you think about it, these games aren't like blowout games. Vandy versus Vols, SMU versus California, and was it Boise? Boise versus Oregon might be a blowout, but like these are competitive games, and I think there's a chance. It's not like the bet lines are 20-30 point favors or anything. A 2 point or a 2 point game, especially with the reffing we're seeing, is that can really happen.
All right, guys.
Are you still struggling?
Yeah, as I try to get my TV going, I want to tell you that Baron Huber and I are going to do a podcast at the Floribama. So we're going to talk a lot about Coach DeBoer in Alabama. He's got some pretty good opinions about things. And, of course, he was on the Tailgate Show when it started. So it'll be a lot of fun to talk to him. And I'm taking Robbie to the Floribama tomorrow. So you get your first trip to
is that when it is tomorrow?
Yeah, to one of Alabama's best establishments. Are you ready to check it out?
Oh, I'm ready to check it out. I'm ready to have some fun. Are we going back Thursday too?
Yeah, we're going there for Thanksgiving, everybody. Think about that. All right, so they're running through. You got Colorado, Kansas State down there, Texas A&M 20 after the loss.
Wow.
This is really going to be one of those things where we'll see where Bama pops in here, slides in.
They're really taking their time.
Read them off as they come through.
Oh,
Robbie.
of course.
Help me out here.
And we got Texas at 20, and we're kind of waiting for anything else.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, Texas A&M at 20. We got BYU at 19. 9-2 team coming in at 19th. Wow.
Well, part of it's like the schedule.
Yeah, of course. I think our win against Georgia has really given us a lot of points.
At Wisconsin was a pretty good win. At LSU was a pretty good win.
18th, we have Iowa State at a 9-2. They won last week and they moved up a good bit, I think. Yeah, they moved up 4 spots.
Tilt my. That's the only way I'm gonna get it. I don't know why my TV won't work.
17th, we have Tulane. 9-2.
Guess you're not allowed to have 2 TVs with the college football playoff. No surprises yet, though.
No, not really at all. 16th, we got Arizona State coming in.
So Arizona State, big win last week, rushed the field. They're going to have to win their conference probably to get in, but it's good to see the Sun Devils kind of in the mix. A lot of people on here like love Alabama, don't think they deserve to get in. And guys, I'm not disagreeing, but it's a 12-team playoff. I mean, I know it's not a typical Nick Saban season, but a lot of these teams don't deserve to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
That's what the playoff's for. You want these Jekyll and Hyde teams like Alabama because maybe Bama puts it together and rolls.
I mean, it's not always how you start, it's how you finish, you know.
So we're going to get here in a second, first and second team out. I see Ole Miss just popped in there.
15th, South Carolina, and then we have 14th, Ole Miss.
Okay, so 2 SEC teams.
8-3 across the board.
Yeah, these are the teams that needed to win. Not South Carolina, but Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Ole Miss would be clearly in this champion. They would clearly be in this college football playoff had they won at.
Who'd they play?
They lost at Florida.
Wow.
On Saturday.
Oh yeah, that big upset. That's still crazy.
All right, so Bama's going to come in at number 13.
13th, yeah, that's
there they are right now.
We expected.
So Bama's at 13, just exactly where they were.
The first one to get some highlights
on here, right? So that puts them right there at like ESPN said, about, I don't know, 37% chance to get in. They've got to beat Auburn. That's a big part of this.
We dropped 6 places.
6 places after, but they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're going to fall when you show up and play that poorly like they did against Oklahoma. Honestly, Alabama's lucky they didn't fall further.
I agree. You know, I think, we took those 2 losses really to heart. I don't know if we're just used to being an undefeated team. We got Clemson coming in at 12th, but I don't know if we just are used to being undefeated. But every loss this season, just everyone's took so personal, and maybe that's because we're winning the big hard games and we're just losing these easy ones.
Well, the reason why, and I mean, you just got here, for us that have been here for a long time. Nick Saban was just amazing at taking every single opponent seriously. And it was just you hear it when Jay Coker's in here with us, and if something pops up, just jump in and tell me what it is. They were so disciplined and attention to detail. They took all their opponents seriously. Nick Saban used to lose it at the press conferences when people would try to discount the whatever reason somebody wasn't doing paying attention. So being number 13, and Cody, you're right, man. 13 is really generous when you talk about the way that they showed up against Oklahoma.
We got a Boise coming in at 11th.
Okay, so Boise's in right now. We knew that was going to be the case. They've got 1 loss this year. That was to Oregon. It was actually a really good game. I watched it.
Really?
Yeah, Boise State is why you do this college football playoff, because they're a team that would never have a chance except for this playoff format. So you kind of want to see, they had one of the biggest upsets in bowl history. I think it was Oklahoma that they beat on the old Statue of Liberty play. And that kind of launched their program. For the mid-majors, they've been a model of consistency.
This is interesting. Oh, well, we got 10th. We have Indiana coming in at 10th, but what's interesting to me is we got Clemson versus South Carolina. So if South Carolina beats Clemson, I mean, that's not only going to boost us. I mean, obviously we have to win the Iron Bowl, but where's that bring South Carolina? I mean, that's got to bring them right there.
They could still win their conference, right? If they get in. So that would probably knock them out of the playoff, but then they win their conference and they knock one of the other teams out. Maybe if you devalue the conference championship loser, kind of interesting. And I think that's what Cody's saying here. I'm not going to complain. Maybe South Carolina can help us. I wouldn't want to play South Carolina.
No, they're right there with us. I mean, they played as good as we did this year. They're an 8-3 SEC. We got SMU at 9th.
So SMU is going to be one of the weaker teams in this. A lot of this comes down to The ACC is not that good. You're talking about 3 good teams, maybe at best. And, SMU's played kind of a weaker schedule. They'd be the team you'd want to draw, them in Indiana.
Yeah.
But they have run through their schedule. So
we got Tennessee at 8th.
So Tennessee gets in. They needed some help last week. They had a cupcake. They got losses by Alabama and Ole Miss. They're in. They play Vanderbilt.
Wow.
And they better beat Vandy to take care of business.
We got Georgia all the way down at 7th. So I guess they're putting Miami and Notre Dame above them. Well, also, compared to ESPN here, we have Indiana all the way down at 10th for college football playoffs, and they were seated 5th.
Yeah, Indiana lost though. They got thumped last week. Realistically, they haven't beaten anybody with a pulse. I mean, they're lucky to be in this. They're a little bit better than the bad teams to me.
It's kind of where we're sitting.
So if Alabama played the schedules that some of these teams play, they'd be undefeated too. These teams aren't going to Oklahoma and playing 4- and 5-star players. They're not playing at LSU. They're not playing at Wisconsin. I mean, these are tough games, but that's what we wanted. When they balked up the SEC, we wanted that.
Yeah.
It's just, we're not thinking, hey, we're going to lose, all the, the Vanderbilt. If Alabama beats Vanderbilt, none of this is an issue.
We got Miami at 6th.
So Miami plays Syracuse in their final game. It's not like the Miami resume really blows you off the table. They beat Florida though at the beginning of the season. That was a convincing win. Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech in a close game, Cal in a 1-point close game, Louisville in a close game, Florida State beat them pretty good. Duke, they lost to Georgia Tech, and then they beat Wake Forest. I mean, this schedule is it doesn't compare to anybody in the SEC. That's a weak schedule.
We have Notre Dame coming in at 5th, by the way.
So that's not a surprise at all. Notre Dame is the darling of the media. They lost 1 game this year. They play USC to end the season. Does USC have a chance against them? I think they do. But that's Notre Dame is a favorite. It's a winnable game.
We are running through them. We got 4th Penn State, 3rd Texas, 2nd Ohio State, and 1st Oregon.
Yeah, so nothing else changes on the predictor here. And all of those teams have a almost 100% chance of making the college football playoff no matter what happens, right? As of today. Now, Texas loses to Texas A&M. I think they still make it. They'll just be slotted back. Penn State, another one of those teams. If you get in that Big Ten, depending on what your schedule is in there, there's just so many easy games.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't call anything in the Big Ten a gauntlet. So as I kind of look through the Penn State schedule, they're still a really good team. They're 4th right now in the conference, behind Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. They didn't play Indiana this year. They played West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois, UCLA, USC, a very good game there. Wisconsin, at Wisconsin. They played Ohio State at home. You saw that when they lost by 7. They should have won that game. They didn't want it. Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, and then they play Maryland to end the season. So the Terps have a chance to be a spoiler, and that could be a tough game. That Maryland team could put up a fight.
Yeah.
Not any confident in Maryland.
They're known for their football there. I think. I hate to say it, but I think Maryland's going to get walked through.
Well, but that's why you play the games. I mean, who would have thought Alabama would score 3 points at?
When's the last time we did that? 2003. That's just
it really is.
It's before I was born. We're breaking records in the wrong way. I was over my first season.
You show up on campus and we can't win.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be quitting after this year if we don't make it to postseason.
What are the traditions that current students have going right now? Like when you got there, what did the other students tell you about Alabama football?
Well, I mean, they said it was a lot bigger than I imagined. Before that, I'd only been in NFL. This is my first CFB in anything, and they were correct.
So you were surprised by that,
Yeah,
huh?
I would say some of the biggest traditions. I mean, the Tennessee cigar. Win or lose, we're still pulling those out.
Well, you're supposed to pull them out if you win.
Yeah, and then as retribution because they already bought it, they're sad and they still pull.
So
it
it's
out.
a sad cigar for
Yeah,
you guys.
it's supposed to be happy, but they pull it out sad. Trying to think what other big traditions. I mean, obviously you got
that you guys do, like that you've learned.
I mean, going to the games. I mean, getting to the upper deck, getting absolutely blasted and having fun. I think that's every Alabama game ever, though.
Right.
I guess the biggest tradition is listen to the white girls love Ryan Williams this year.
She's very popular with all the. He's very popular with all the ladies.
Yes, all of them. Nothing in particular. The sorority girls, though. Me living on dorms right next to sorority row. I hear Williams' name quite often.
Well, man, he's kind of a big time celebrity, man. I mean,
I don't think he realizes it either. I don't think he realizes how big he's gotten. Like, I'll still catch him just riding down the street, say what's up.
He's like an everyman.
Yeah, he's like he doesn't realize. I mean, obviously Milrose in the millions when it comes to like followers and stuff, but I think Ryan's broke that threshold too, where he's in the millions, and I just don't think he realizes, how vulnerable he is. He's a big target now.
Do you have classes with any of these guys?
I don't think they have class, like normal class. The only person I avidly see is Tyler Booker.
You see him?
Yeah, I see him.
He's a smart guy.
I see him every day over in the math and science area. So he's locked in,
Well, look, this is what we wanted to do. We just wanted to know where Bama is. They're right on par with what we thought. They need to basically win against Auburn. If they beat Auburn, I'm telling you, I think that they underachieved this year. I think that they should have at least won 10 games. They're not going to win 10 games, but 8 wins isn't good enough for me. Not with this team, not with the competition, the level of competition.
Yeah.
Chief 18 Will says he's tired of Milroe, Roll Tide brother. Look, Milroe's got a game or 2 left. I mean, and then he'll be moving on. I don't think that if Milroe decides he wants to stay in college, that it'll be in Alabama. I think that
you really think he's leaving?
Well, I mean, I think he'll go to the NFL. And Anthony Richardson was the 4th overall pick, and Milroe's light years better than that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in a position where he's going to make some money. He does a lot of the little things right. It's just that he hasn't had a lot of success lately. So I hope that changes. But
yeah, I think we really devalue him heavily.
Hey, Bishop Frank, thank you, man. Thank you, brother, for being on here. Big salute to you, man, and all the Bama Tailgate family, and I love all of you guys hanging out. I still look, if I didn't think that Bama had a chance to get in, I would tell you, I think that they do have a chance. We need another Saturday like we had last week. And I think that Bama's just got to go out there, take care of business. And if they come out and play inspired and they beat the tar out of Auburn, which could happen, and it's happened before, hey, man, we're right back in there. And this team could potentially make a run. But look, the thing that, Charlie, you're looking at is you're comparing this to what we expect, our expectations. Yeah. The problem is that the expectations, right, that we have as a program were Nick Saban expectations. Kalen DeBoer is going to have to figure out how to bring discipline to the team. He's going to have to figure out how to beat opponents that can basically beat you every single week and raise the level of competition. He's not there yet. But you look at the other teams that are in the mix and you start going through their schedules, they haven't played anybody. It's not like they're out there playing a real schedule. There's a ton of teams that Alabama would be favored against or beat that are in that college football field. So just keep that in mind too. Thundar says, Mick, do you remember the crowd doing Roll Tide before the announcer said first down? I don't remember us doing that. Okay, let me tell you this. We were at Ole Miss one year. You remember the game where this is the game I think it was. It was when Trent Richardson made that move at Ole Miss where he like basically juked a guy out of his jock and scored a touchdown. He was running down the sideline and then just stopped at a spin move, and the guy just like fell over and he ran in. We were at Ole Miss for that game, and every time Ole Miss would get a first down, they would scream something like "hotty toddy" or whatever it was, right? And I can't remember what it was, but I know that when we came back, I'm sure that it was someone with it was someone that worked for Alabama or Tony Giles, the PA guy. Somebody decided that we were going to do that, and now we do that. And it's fine with me. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not yelling "Roll Tide" after every first down or whatever, but I don't mind it. It's not one of those traditions during the game that I don't like. But that's where I remember being at that game, and then I remember coming back and hearing over the PA that they wanted people to start yelling "Roll Tide" after every first down. I mean, look, it does keep people active in the game. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
No, I think he brings up a good point. And, you asked me some of the traditions we do, and there is so many vocal traditions. Like, I didn't know the Dixieland Delight song. I didn't know
that was pretty cool one.
The kickoff Roll Tide roll. We have a lot.
Have you been in a bar yet when somebody stands on a table and just does like a Roll Tide roll?
I think that was
maybe I'll do one at the Florida.
I need you to pull up at Florida. Hop on stage for us. No, I think it's really important though. I like those traditions we carry, because I think a big part about Bama is our home field advantage, and I think that really puts a threat on the other team when the audience is that loud. I think it's great. I love it.
They're fun games to go to, huh?
The light shows. We have the $1 million band. It is a whole entertainment series we got. Yeah, you can come there for the football, but win or lose, you got to get a good experience out of it.
Yeah. Well, look, appreciate all you guys for hanging out. Tomorrow we'll have Catfish Courtside recapping the basketball game. I'm going to bounce and watch. Look, got my hoop shirt on. I'm ready for a big second half from Alabama basketball. But I want to tell you guys that our channel is brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. If you're in Tuscaloosa, somewhere in Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, want to get away, kick it over to Pearl River Resort, and you can, gamble just like you're in Vegas at the sports book, play $50 at the sports book, and then you can go to Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta you can play, and you can play it for $40 without a membership. So the Azaleas, the Oaks are two really amazing courses. They've put a ton of money in that, and it was fantastic. Coker and I were there for the tailgate show last week. If you're going to the game, and you see a lot of you guys bouncing before I'm finished, it's like leaving mass early. If you're going to the game and you're around Tuscaloosa on Friday, we're going to be at Innisfree for the show 1 to 4. So swing by and see us. Coker and me, we'll have Robbie with us. Our entire crew will be there. So come by and see us as we record the tailgate show. That'll air live on here, and then it'll play across the state on radio come Saturday. And then the Iron Bowl. So we got a lot going on. Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks for hanging. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow morning.
Roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.